I know many of you are looking at the title right now and like, oh my, it's actually out. Food Wars Season 3 is finally out. It's been a bit. It's finally back with a new episode. It's on Crunchyroll, so if you don't know where the episode's at, it's on Crunchyroll. And I gotta say right now, the first episode was glorious. It was great. It was great to have it back. And you know what better way to celebrate Food Wars when it comes back than to actually get a nice good meal, sit down and watch it, because this is a type of series when you watch it, you know for a fact you're going to want to eat something. If you don't, you're going to be hungry while watching it or after watching the episode, and you're going to be like, I should have ate. And that's the type of series this has always been, because you always get to see delicious food, and it's just one of those type of series to where you should sit down and just eat while watching it, and that's exactly what I did. So anyways, getting right into it, Season 3 of Food Wars is out, and it continues on after the events of Season 2, obviously. Now, we have the new conflict and plot point for the season already laid out before us in this episode, which I gotta say, I really like the direction this season is already going. So I heard a few things about this upcoming arc from the manga readers when I was reviewing Season 2. Many were telling me that this upcoming arc is something I'd really like if I'm into Spice and Wolf, which everybody knows I love Spice and Wolf, and since everybody basically knows that's one of my favorite series, they all were telling me like, Chibi, if you like that, you like the economics, business, you know, aspect of it and all that, then you're really gonna love the next arc of Food Wars when Season 3 comes out. That's what everybody told me, and when I was watching this episode, honestly, I forgot about what many told me. I forgot about that. Like, I legit, it just didn't go into my mind. It didn't click until I was watching the episode, and I was thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, they did tell me that. They told me that a long time ago, and I remember replying to a comment, and it was a while ago when I was reviewing Season 2, and when I was watching this episode, I was like, this is already looking to be a great season of Food Wars, because the conflict of it is where Soma, obviously, he wants to compete and, you know, do a battle with someone, a food battle with someone. Well, we already know this is how he is as a person. He's always challenging himself and trying to better himself as a chef. But in this case, he decides to go right out of the way and just challenge one of the Elite 10. And we know how crazy they are thanks to the previous season. Well, basically, he challenges Kuga, which it seems like all of the Elite 10 finally have been showcased, I think for the first time. Like, every single Elite 10, I think, has finally been shown in this episode. Now, I could be wrong about that, just could be not remembering details, but I believe this is the first time we have seen all of their faces, especially in one area. So he challenges Kuga, and Kuga's like, look, if you're going to challenge me, I'm willing to do, like, you know, Shokugeki with you, but the only way I'm going to do that is if you prove yourself. You got to prove yourself for me to be able to, you know, do this with you. And so we have it toward the 8th seat, I think he is the 8th seat, that he's fine with challenging, you know, Soma. But to start, like, he needs to build up some credits, some, you know, I guess, actual popularity before he's willing to challenge him. And so that's where the main conflict comes in with the first episode of Season 3. So basically, he's going to be setting up a booth. He's taking part in the annual festival that takes place at school, which this is something you see constantly in anime and manga. I think all of us by now, if you have been watching anime or reading manga for a while, a couple years, or if you've seen a good portion, most likely, if you've ever read Slice of Life, School Life series, or anything like that, you probably have run into a festival arc. That's just a big thing. When it comes to, you know, School Life series, it always has to have a festival, you know, to where it's a school festival, and they just chill and have fun. And that was, I guess, expected to happen. Eventually, we were expected to have something like this for Food Wars, and we finally got that with a festival coming up, where Soma is going to be selling food to everyone that's going to be coming in. Now, as we know, when it comes to Food Wars, anything that they do in terms of camps, festivals, and stuff like that, it's not going to be something standard, something that we see constantly in other manga or anime. It's going to be something very unique. And in this case, like I said, Soma is setting up his own food booth to where he's going to be selling food. And this is how he's going out of his way to challenge Kuga to actually get his seat, to do a Shokugeki with him, for he can actually become a part of the Elite 10. Now, the main conflict here is that he needs to be able to sell more than Kuga. Now, we already know from what was previously established in the last season that when it comes to, you know, making food, it's not just about a skilled chef. It's about the business aspect of it as well. For instance, staff, time, and, getting everybody on board to do what they need to do, and then, also just kind of figuring out a way to get more customers to come in repeatedly over and over. It's something that takes a lot of skill. Even if you're a good chef and you could cook, that does not necessarily mean that you're good at bringing in people, being a good businessman. And that is what the previous season was showing us, and this episode takes that to a whole new level. Soma now, he's by himself. He's someone that is shown time and time again throughout Food Wars that he can cook insane dishes. He is extremely skilled, and you should not underestimate his skill at cooking. However, when it comes to the business aspect, that is something that he still needs to work on. And since he wants to be a business owner, he wants to be a top chef, then obviously he needs to be good at, having more people come in and being a good businessman. And that's, like I said, the conflict of this season. He has to beat Kuga at a business aspect. He has to beat him by bringing in more sales. It's not the fact that he needs to make better food, it's the fact that he needs to bring in better sales. So now we're getting into business stuff when it comes to Food Wars, which is very entertaining for me, because I've always thought it was very entertaining to see characters just dealing with, business when it comes to, economics and stuff. That's what I really love about Spice and Wolf. And so seeing how Soma, he's going to have to be learning how to maintain a business, but at the same time being able to drag in customers even though he's a newcomer, it adds a whole new variety of challenges for him that we haven't really even seen from Food Wars thus far from the anime. Now, let me get into a little bit more nitty-gritty details here to kind of explain. Soma, he has cards set against him. Like, his back is up against the wall, because this man right now, he is someone that's not really that popular. I mean, he may be kind of popular or well-known in the school, but that's not what's really going to play a big part here. What's playing a part is the people outside of the school and your popularity. For instance, the Elite 10, they're famous. They're people that are famous around the world, and many people know about them, and they want to come and check out their food and all that, because they obviously have to be able to cook something good. So obviously, people are going to know about their, popularity, the Elite 10, and then want to go check out their food and taste it. So they have a lot backing them already. But Soma, he is someone that's only known in the school, and so he doesn't have a lot of backing in terms of the, food world. Nobody really knows anything about him, and so he's basically like a newcomer. It's like this. It's like a family restaurant being opened up around like a McDonald's, a Hardee's, or a famous like El Tapatio restaurant or something. Or, just these famous restaurants, like fast food restaurants to famous restaurants and all that. It's like a small little diner being opened up with all these big names. And obviously the small little diner, it'll have its own little group of people that would want to check it out because, it's small and it most likely have home cooked stuff. But most of the time people are going to trust the brands that they know of, the people that they recognize, and that's where Soma is going to have a problem, because his brand isn't out there. Nobody really knows much about him. He doesn't have popularity, and it's like he's a new business owner opening up shop, and nobody really knows what to expect, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because depending on the impressions, the first impressions of how it goes will determine his life cycle of his business. For instance, if people like his food, they like how quick he is or whatever, then they will continuously come back, and then word of mouth, it'll spread. And one of the strongest things in business is word of mouth. Word of mouth gets very far. I mean, social media is a prime example. Word of mouth, talking online and all that, it spreads, and that's exactly what Soma needs. The only thing he really has going for him right now is nobody really knows about him, and if someone talks about it and says like, oh, this is really good, you need to check it out, and it starts spreading, becomes viral, then more people will jump in. But let's also talk about something that was very smart that he pulled in this episode. So Soma, he's overcome a lot of problems. Like, he's overcome a lot of issues to where it seemed like he was going to face utter defeat. But there is one thing that he has always done, and then he didn't realize. He was always riding off of some of the popularity of others around him. For instance, the other Elite 10, our main female character, and all of that. Basically, he was always riding off of their popularity or how people always come to them, and then he would steal away some of their customers. And that's exactly what he wants to do. He's opened up a shop right next to Kuga to be able to steal his customers. Now, like I said, in a lot of ways, this is a bad move and a good move. Because if you set up a little diner amongst all these big giants, these corporations and all of that, obviously people might not bat an eye to look at you. But at the same time, though, there could be a small group of people that are into that and then spread that news of you, and then it'll spread to others. Or maybe if the, fast food place or these big restaurants are full to capacity, maybe they don't want to sit there and wait, and they'll go to a small diner or something to feel more at home. And that's probably what Soma is going to have going for him, is the fact that he could probably make his, booth more homely than probably what these top tier restaurants could be from the Elite 10. So I believe that's probably what's going to be used in this competition that he's going to be doing. So besides that, I think the first episode of Food Wars was quality. It was a quality episode of Food Wars, and it was really good. If this is what I can expect from this season, it's definitely going to be a good season of Food Wars. I'm really hyped up for it. I really want to see where it's going to go, and I want to see how Soma's going to handle the business approach of this, because we've seen him try to handle this a few times in the past, but we never really got into that many details with this, and I love this type of theme when it comes to any series. I'm a big fan of it, and just seeing it makes me smile and get very happy. So let me know your thoughts. How do you all feel about the return of Food Wars? Are you happy? Did you not like the episode? How was the adaptation? I want to ask, you manga readers, how was the anime adaptation of the first episode of Season 3? Please let me know in the comments below if you liked it or disliked it. So if you like my video, please leave a like, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe, and if you want to help me out where I can continuously focus on YouTube, please go into the description and support me on Patreon. It does help me out a lot. No matter how much you support me with, it does help me out a lot. So with that being said, I love all of you. Please be safe. Chibi out.